Welcome to the Sources of Energy Notes. A lot of times today in the media, we'll see things about being energy efficient, about going green, using clean energy. What does it all mean? What does it mean when we get something in our mail from our electric company and it says we are less energy efficient than our neighbors? Why should I care? What does it matter to me? What does it matter to you? We're going to explore that in these notes and in our lessons to really find out what it means and why we should care about being energy efficient, using green energy, and what it means to us in the world. Here are the words to know. Renewable resource, non-renewable resource, fossil fuel, advantage, disadvantage, global warming, pollution, emission, environment, watt, greenhouse effect. Here are the key questions we're going to look at. What do we need energy for? What is a fossil fuel? What are the advantages and disadvantages of fossil fuels? What is clean energy? What are the advantages and disadvantages of the different forms of clean energy? What are the potential dangers of too much carbon dioxide? So what exactly do we need energy for? Well, first of all, we need to remember that energy has to come from somewhere. It's not free. It can't be created or destroyed. We have to get it from somewhere else so we can use it to heat or cool our homes, fuel cars and other vehicles. All of our electrical devices have to get that electrical energy from somewhere, and we need that energy to run factories and cook our food and do just about anything else. A lot of that energy we get comes from fossil fuels. And a fossil fuel is a non-renewable resource that's formed from organic remains over millions of years ago. Living things millions of years ago died. They were buried, they got compressed, and over millions of years they became coal, natural gas, and oil. And you have to use mining or drilling to get these resources out of the ground. Here we can see pictures that depict coal mining. This is a big strip mine at the top. This is pieces of coal. And we have an oil platform down here and a drill here. And there are some advantages and disadvantages to using fossil fuels. Some good things about them are that they produce controllable electricity. You can burn more coal to make more electricity during peak demand. Meaning, if it's really cold out and everyone needs to run their air conditioners, we can just make more electricity that way. There's also an existing infrastructure. We can get the coal to places. We have the pipes to run oil all over the country. The U.S. has lots of coal and natural gas and oil. And these fossil fuels can generate huge amounts of electricity at just one location. Some bad things about fossil fuels is that they cause air pollution when they're burned. And that includes greenhouse gases that could cause global warming. Also, getting the fossil fuels and transporting them can cause environmental disasters like oil spills. Strip mining destroys entire regions and flattens mountains, and drinking water can be contaminated when oil and other chemicals used in the processing can get into the water, make it undrinkable. And so we have what we call alternative energy. And alternative energy, clean and green energy, is the alternative to fossil fuels. So these do not pollute the environment as much. They're also renewable. They won't run out. Fossil fuels could run out. This also includes nuclear energy, which does produce nuclear waste, but nuclear energy does not produce air pollution. We also want to consider that making other energies more efficient can also be seen as clean energy. We're going to look in depth in a lesson in class on what some of the advantages and disadvantages are of different forms of clean energy. Now, one of the big problems that we have with fossil fuels is that when we burn them, we produce greenhouse gases like carbon dioxide. And these gases trap heat like in a greenhouse. And global warming is expected to cause sea levels to rise, increase the number of extreme weather events like hurricanes, and spread tropical diseases. Let's take a look at a website that shows us how this is going to happen. Here is some data that shows how carbon dioxide levels have increased over time. Here it is currently. This is how much it's increased in the last 10 years. So we can definitely see that carbon dioxide levels are increasing. And scientists worry that this will also cause an increase in global temperature, which also seems to be happening. So this is how the greenhouse effect works. The solar energy comes in, it hits the earth. A lot of that energy is reflected back up into the atmosphere, but greenhouse gases trap that heat and keep it in, just like a glass greenhouse does. Some of the heat does escape back into space, but a lot of it is contained in the earth, raising the temperatures of the earth. Another problem with increased carbon dioxide levels in the atmosphere is ocean acidification, and this has just recently come to light from scientists. About a quarter of all CO2 emissions are absorbed by the Earth's oceans. This is changing the chemistry of the ocean. It's making the acidification more, and this will dissolve shellfish. The shellfish need a certain pH to live. And the more acidic it gets, the less healthy it is for them. And these shellfish are the basis of a lot of the food chains that we use for a lot of our fishing and other industries that involve the ocean. So if this gets out of whack, it could cause real harm to a lot more than just these little shellfish. So there's a lot to consider when we think about all of these things that we're doing to the world and increasing the amount of carbon dioxide. So we want to help decrease that to prevent things like global warming and ocean acidification.